Well, first, let me say I do agree with George not being on the All-NBA teams. I do think he's better than Jimmy Butler and had a better year. I would have put him above Jimmy Butler, but I didn't have Butler on it either. My first team forwards were, I'm an official voter, LeBron and Kawhi, Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then Draymond Green and Anthony Davis on the third team. Davis made first team as a center. But I thought Cousins was there.
Well, does he qualify as a
yeah,
forward?
they want they want you to have Cousins is really the center, right? DeMarcus Cousins. But they're close enough. But they want you to choose a real
Okay.
Because
that's how DeAndre made it last year.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I agree with that. But I think what this does is this puts the ball in Indiana's court. Because if George had made All-NBA, they would have offered him the big supermax, 5 years, $210 million, and he would have had to make a decision. He doesn't seem to want to come out and make a decision. We've heard LA, but that's from anonymous sources. His agent hasn't said it. He hasn't said it publicly. Indiana, they will tell you he's given them no indication that he wants to leave. He's just said, I want to win.
What about that tweet with the Boston Celtics jersey on yesterday? What did that
say? That could be, yeah.
What did that message say?
If it meant he would sign in Boston, because look, Indiana still has an offer for him on the table.
Yeah.
It's like 4 years, 150 or whatever it is they can offer him at this point. He could, if they traded him to Boston for that number 1 pick, Boston could offer him that as well. But if I'm Boston, I only make that move if I can get him to sign. But there's no incentive for him to sign because he's going to try to have an All-NBA season next year and then get the Supermax. But
which
if you're
would be what, 230?
Next year with the cap will go up again. But if I'm Boston, I can't give up the number 1 pick with no guarantee I'll have you beyond 1 year.
Yep.
If he said, I'm good, I'll sign, I mean, you'd have to have his word on it, right?
A verbal?
No, I ain't doing no verbal.
Yeah, because remember Kevin Love gave Cleveland a verbal, and obviously he stayed, but there was, you weren't sure for a while, and you had LeBron there to sell him, whereas what's Boston got to sell Paul George to make sure he stays? So you would do it for a verbal?
Nope. Well, I know the last I saw a movie, the last verbal and handshake is called Founders. About the situation with the McDonald's Corporation with Ray Kroc and the McDonald brothers. So I'm kind of out on those handshakes and those verbal agreements.
Last verbal I remember is Usual Suspects. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
That was a bad verbal, right? So, gut feeling before I let you go of this. What happens? What's your gut tell you that is how this will play out?
I think he stays for the rest of the summer. I think he gets traded before the trade deadline.
Next.
Because I don't think he'll give them any indication. He won't say anything like Kevin Durant, like LeBron when he first left Cleveland. Just play it out and then Indiana
going to patiently engineer a trade to Los Angeles, to the Lakers?
Gosh. Look, I may be in the minority. I think the Clippers have a good shot at getting him. Because if I were them, I'd re-sign Blake Griffin, wouldn't give him a no-trade clause, and then I would offer him at the deadline to Indiana. And if you're Indiana and you're going to lose Paul George.
You got to get something in return.
Yeah, why not Blake?
Go ahead, Skip.
I have fallen out of love with Paul George. I just have.
But he's still he's still a really good player.
He's a really good player, but he has fallen from superstar, in my view, to star. And there's nothing wrong with being a star until you start talking about Boston giving up the number 1 overall pick. I just wouldn't do that. Now, again, I'm on record. I'm a Lonzo Ball fan. I believe he's transcendent. Shannon's not so sure about that. If I'm the Boston Celtics, I just take Lonzo and never look back because I believe 5 years, 10 years from now, if they don't take him, they will regret not taking Lonzo Ball. And again, it's hard. You say, well, he doesn't fit with, I don't care who he fits with. I just say he's that good. You cannot pass him up with the number 1 overall. My heart would like to see him with the Lakers because it would be a great story for the league. The Lakers need him. They need this. They need LeVar for that matter. I mean, just the whole dynamic of it. It would put them back on the national map. Would they not be a big story starting with the summer league? Right?
I agree with everything you said because I'm the same way with Lonzo.
Okay. All right. So there's no way I'm going to trade basically Lonzo Ball for Paul George at age 27. And again, he had a horrendous knee injury, one of the worst I've ever seen. Broken leg. Yeah, I'm sorry, broken leg. And it was so crushing that I think it crushed a part of his confidence. And I know this is just like armchair psychology, but he never seemed like quite as dominating post-injury as he was pre-injury. Like he lost a little bit of his spark and his confidence. And against LeBron this year in the first round, he wasn't as confident as he used to be. You could just, he was shrinking in game one from the last couple shots. I'm sorry, he didn't used to be like that. So that's my gut feeling, is that he's not going to be worth a price that somebody is going to have to pay for him ultimately.
Would you, if you were, I apologize, Shannon, if you were the Lakers or if you were Boston, would you give up the number 1 pick for the number 2 pick and, Brandon Ingram or whoever you'd have to get?
No. You mean at the expense of Lonzo?
Yeah. So,
no.
Because the Lakers we know they want Lonzo.
Yeah. I mean, if I could get Lonzo and then ultimately add Paul George somehow to that, I'd take that.
But Paul George and Ingram really play the same position.
I don't
They're
care.
both-
I'd take
I was
them
just
with
thinking,
Lonzo.
like, if the Lakers get an inkling that Boston wants Lonzo,
Yeah.
then they may offer you the number 2 pick and one of those young players, and you wouldn't do that if you were Boston. And you could still get, like, Markelle Fultz and whoever you got from the Lakers.
I wouldn't do at the expense of Lonzo. I'm not doing it.
I think if Paul George plays like he did April when he was April NBA's Eastern Conference Player of the Month, I think if he plays like that all season next year, he'll be on the All-NBA team. Now, it's tough because you got Kawhi, you got Bron, and you got KD. So there's a good chance you're probably not going to make first team, but all you need to do is make one of the 3 teams.
Some of those other guys
Right.
are tough.
Yeah, hey, Gannis doesn't seem like he's taking a step back. So basically, I mean, you got to usurp Jimmy Butler. That's your option. You got to get past Jimmy Butler. That's what you're looking at. And so I like Paul George. I like his game. He's smooth. He can stroke the ball. He's good at shooting for free throws. He can shoot the 3
Except against LeBron in Cleveland at
Skip!
the end of the year.
You talk about one game. The man had a 44. He was, 1 rebound away from a triple-double with 44 points. He ended up averaging about 33. And
He played
so he played well, Skip.
Where'd
But
that get them?
No, when you play that guy.
Further than Miami.
Hold on.
Oh, very good,
Chris,
very good.
When you play King Kong, how you expect to go anywhere?
Miami didn't have Deion Waiters healthy, by the way.